Κυρίες και κύριοι, χαίρετε. Είναι η έκτακτη επικαιρότητα από το ΝΤΡΙΝ News. Επιχείρηση της Ισπανικής Αστυνομίας με την ονομασία Jenner πραγματοποιήθηκε στο Εθνικό Μητρώο Εμβολιασμών και αυτό οδήγησε στην εξάρθρωση σπείρας που εξέδιδε πλαστά πιστοποιητικά για την COVID-19 με αντάλλαγμα χρήματα. Ο κατάλογος αστυνομίας που στάλθηκε στα δικαστήρια της Μαδρίτης περιλαμβάνει 2.200 ονόματα και μέσα περιέχει το όνομα του José María Fernández Sousa, ιδρυτή και προέδρου της φαρμακευτικής βιομηχανίας Φαρμαμάρ, πανεπιστημιακό καθηγητή βιοχημίας με περίπου 100 δημοσιεύσεις και πατέντες στον τομέα της βιοχημίας, των αντιβιωτικών και της μοριακής βιολογίας.
Το όνομα του José María Fernández Sousa-Faro, προέδρου της Φαρμαμάρ, ενός από τους μεγαλύτερους φαρμακευτικούς κολοσσούς της Ευρώπης, βρίσκεται στη λίστα με τα ονόματα χιλιάδων ψευδώς εμβολιασμένων κατά του κορονοϊού στην Ισπανία, όπως επιβεβαιώθηκε από αστυνομικές πηγές και αναφέρθηκε από το El Periódico de España. Ο πρόεδρος της φαρμακευτικής εταιρείας που ιδρύθηκε πριν από 36 χρόνια, η οποία έχει γίνει πρωτοσέλιδο για την αποτελεσματικότητα του φαρμάκου της Στην κατά της COVID, είναι ανάμεσα στα περισσότερα από 2.200 ονόματα στη λίστα που καταρτίστηκε από την Εθνική Αστυνομία για όσους εμβολιάστηκαν ψευδώς κατά της νόσου. Η αστυνομία ισχυρίζεται ότι ο Dr. Sousa-Faro, πρόεδρος της Φαρμαμάρ, κανόνισε να του γίνει ένεση με αλατούχο διάλειμμα αντί για εμβολιασμό COVID-19 και πλήρωσε $1.000 για να προσθεθεί το όνομά του στο Μητρώο Εμβολιασμών της Ισπανίας. Σύμφωνα με την El Mundo, η Ισπανική αστυνομία διεξήγαγε την έρευνα με την ονομασία Operation Jenner, η οποία αποκάλυψε το τεράστιο δίκτυο διασημοτήτων και ελίτ που έχουν πληρώσει χρήματα για να καταχωρήσουν τα ονόματά τους με απάτη στο Εθνικό Μητρώο Εμβολιασμών. Το σκάνδαλο αυτό σχολίασε στο βρετανικό κανάλι GB News ο παρουσιαστής και συγγραφέας Neil Oliver. Πάμε να δούμε το σχετικό βίντεο.
The question is this: are we stupid? Or are we just being treated as if we're stupid? How long will they keep trying to tell us 2 + 2 = 5 when so many of us can see that the answer is plainly 4? Spanish newspaper El Mundo and other news agencies reported last week that José María Fernández Sousa-Faro, president of European pharmaceuticals giant Farmamar, was among 2,200 Spanish elites and celebrities investigated by police for allegedly paying thousands of euros to be injected with a saline solution, salt water, instead of any of the COVID vaccines, and so had their names added falsely to the National Immunisation Registry. This alone is a brewing scandal of note that a company president involved in researching COVID vaccines allegedly and at the very least did not feel it necessary or important to get vaccinated should make us ask another question. Did that big pharma boss think or have reasons to believe that the vaccines were unsafe perchance? Hey Jose, why go to all the trouble and expense of dodging the jab when everyone else in the world is being told by your lot and the rest that it's safe and that, no one's safe until everyone's jabbed? What's the problem, Jose? I for one would like to know the answer to that question. Maybe while we're on the subject we might pause and wonder who else among the great and the good may have chosen to dodge the bullet and take the saline instead. Daily Mail Online carried a headline on the 8th of June. Healthy young people are dying suddenly and unexpectedly from a mysterious syndrome as doctors seek answers through a new national register. This is SADS, an acronym that stands for Sudden Adult Death Syndrome, and according to the Royal Australian College of GPs, it occurs most commonly in people under 40. This is properly scary. I don't mind telling you. Healthy young people are going to their beds of an evening and not waking up ever again, or otherwise going about their everyday business and dropping dead for no identifiable medical reason. The best anyone in the health professions can apparently do is describe it as mysterious, baffling even, that there are people under 40 dropping in their traces for no known cause. At the same time, around the world, there have been reports of many hundreds of sportsmen and women dying suddenly and unexpectedly in the past year. Super fit individuals, uniquely focused on their own health, keeling over dead, often on the field of play. Here at home, we have had updated information campaigns about how important it is to be aware of the incidence of heart attacks and strokes. It has been deemed appropriate to remind us as well that heart attacks are not unknown in children. It's almost as if we're not to be unduly alarmed by the sight of passers-by dropping to their knees and clutching at their chests. Elsewhere, there's a poster campaign about a rise in the number of cases of shingles. The small print on the posters mentions shingles may strike people with lowered immune systems. Fancy that. Deaths have been attributed by coroners to the COVID vaccines. The numbers are disputed, but people have died on account of the jabs. That much at least is undeniable. Around the world, there are millions of cases of alleged adverse reactions to the jabs, lives severely compromised in some cases. I won't get into the numbers because those are always disputed too, but the facts remain. People are dying. The elephant in the room here is the COVID-19 vaccines. And again, I make no apology at all about banging on about this topic week after week. The push to move on, to leave all talk of COVID and pandemic behind us is palpable and I would say downright sinister. I'm nowhere near ready to move on. Not while there is still so much we do not know, so much we're not allowed to say, think and ask. We're told all about COVID-19 and all manner of ways in which it might affect health long after a person has recovered from the initial infection. But as well as the pandemic, the other momentous arrival among us, indeed in just the past year and a half, is the biggest mass vaccination campaign in the history of the world. Vaccination with products that had emergency approval, but in my opinion are experimental and for which no long-term data is available, on account of their being brand new and just out of the box. Billions of people around the world have submitted to the procedure in a coercive and bullying atmosphere created by politicians and the media that was mandatory in feel, if not in fact. Unknown and unknowable numbers of people did so simply to keep their jobs, to get on a plane and go on holiday or to a gig. And yet, in the midst of one report after another of otherwise unexplained sudden deaths in the past 18 months or so, the only emergent variable, the only new thing in the world that we're not allowed to discuss, absolutely not allowed to discuss, far less point accusatory fingers at, is the mass vaccination programme. Again, I ask the question I posed at the top of this piece. Are we stupid, or are we just being treated as if we're stupid? Which is it?